Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on Sri FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Mixed reactions greet government acceptance of a constitutional review committee recommendation to extend the presidential and parliamentary term limits to 5 years. Also on the program this afternoon, all is set for the coronation of the regent of Dagban, Kampakuya na Yakubu Mahama at the Bewa Palace today. Much later, Ghanaians set to pay more for fuel and transport fares following the continuous rise in international crude oil prices and the depreciation of the cedi. Very much for joining us this afternoon. President John Mahama will in the coming days constitute a constitutional review implementation committee following the release of the government's position paper on constitutional reforms. The committee's recommendations are expected to inform proposed constitutional and legislative reforms following the nationwide constitutional review process. The government, among other proposals, accepted a constitutional review committee recommendation to fix presidential elections in the first week of November, while also mandating that election petitions be filed within 14 days of the declaration of result and determined by the Supreme Court within 30 days. The government also accepted a key recommendation of the Constitutional Review Committee to extend the tenure of the President and Parliament from 4 years to 5 years, while the Constitutional Review Committee proposed reducing the eligibility age from the current 40 years to 30 years. The government has opted for a minimum age of 35 years. Let's hear the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayene, as he presented the government's position paper and also announced that the government has accepted a recommendation allowing Ghanaian dual citizens by birth to hold public office without renouncing foreign citizenship while maintaining restrictions for the offices of President and Vice President.
To extend the term of office of the President from 4 years to 5 years, with the term of Parliament extended to correspond with this. Our thinking is practical. Under the current 4-year cycle, the early months of every administration are consumed by transition matters, and the final year is largely consumed by elections. A 5-year term provides a more realistic time frame for the formulation, implementation, and assessment of government policy. The current disqualification sits uneasily with our engagement with the diaspora and with the realities of modern citizenship. In line with this proposal, it is also the case that multiple citizenship will no longer disqualify a person from becoming, from holding certain, offices.
And you heard the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayene. I'm joined on the line now by Dr. Samuel Efriye. He's Senior Lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University and a political analyst. Good afternoon to you, Doc. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, Beatrice.
What do you make of the government's adoption of this particular proposal for the term limit of President and that of MPs to be extended from 4 to 5 years?
Well, thank you very much. You know, when you look at these issues that was brought up for some stakeholders and other governance experts towards our constitutional graduation in terms of how we have to improve on our constitution, I think we've tried the 1992 constitution for a while, and then we believe that there are some loopholes, one or two here, based on how we have practiced our governance system. So for our perspective, we believe that looking at how government is being run, the 5 years is critical, even it will avoid these third-term issues where people will be thinking that they have to go for third term to complete whatever agenda that they want.
At least there's an additional 2 years.
Yeah, exactly, yes. So critically, it will avoid this third term, and then you have 10 years. And I believe that 10 years is good for any leader to make any changes that that he wants he or she wants to make in our governance system. And also, it will also give a situation for the government. You know, most of these presidents, when they are talking to us, when they are saying those things, they say that for you to put governance in place, when you come when there's a change in government, it takes them more than 6 months or so for them to put everything in order. And I think that is also maybe one of the reasons why the government or maybe people want the number to be increased to 5. And I think it's good for. And also for the MPs, you know, some of the MPs come to Parliament, they have to stabilize themselves before certain things has to be done. All of a sudden you realize that 1 year is gone and then you are going. And to avoid these political activities within the shortest possible time when people are being elected, you know, then you see that these activities. But if they know that they have 5 years, you know, the political parties will tend to put certain things in place in long term so that it will make our governance system a little bit, should I use the word peaceful, for all of us.
But Doc, that's assuming that you're going to be getting good leaders throughout. There are those who are expressing fears that if you have a very terrible leader, that is a whole 10 years.
Well, Beatrice, that is a risk. You see, everything, there's always a risk associated with it. So this one, if you have, I assume you to use that word, a bad leader, then we have to grapple with it. That is the risk aspect of having these 5 years or 10 years. But if it is 5 years, maybe we can change. If the person is bad, we can change before they can also be given additional 5 years. So it's something, but that might be the risk associated with what we intend to implement.
My last question, and that's 2 in 1. Your thought briefly on the age limit to become a president, 35 years, and also the dual citizenship issue.
Well, Beatrice, the dual citizenship, I think that is long overdue. If you engage these those in the diaspora, I think that we need to have some changes. I think the MPP tried, but they were not able to make it. So if the government intends to do it, I will side with that, and it's good in the sense that we need these people. Some of our friends and our family members are all there. We need them when we want to have. When it's about money, we receive their money. But when it comes to certain positions, or maybe they want to, these are all things that we have to do. That is good. And also for the other aspect of the second one, I think it just escaped.
That's the age limit to become a president or contest, 35.
Of late, looking at the trend of governance, our leaders across the world are trying to work on the age limit. And even I said that I think Djibouti is trying to even have an upper limit. So they will give you the lower and then give you the upper. They are making that constitutional changes. Even Indonesia has made some changes towards making them 40. So I think that is quite good, but I would wish that it would go to 40. But I learned that the committee was saying 30 and the president was pushing it for 35.
Indeed.
Well, it's manageable, yes. But I think that the age should not be the only definite issue that we have to look at. We have to add other things to it so that it will become more valuable and weighty in the person that wants to lead us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samuel Afriye, for joining us this afternoon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And you had Dr. Samuel Afriye, senior lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University, also a political analyst.
You don't know where. No work. If they only pay us our money, they will not work. They will not work. They don't know.
You had some voices of cocoa farmers in part of the Volta and Oti regions who have besieged the Cocoa Board office in Hohoi this morning to demand for monies owed to them. Some farmers say they have not received a dime in the last 8 months selling their produce to the PBC. Correspondent Faisal Abdul Idris, who joins us with some update on this. Faisal, they were there this morning. Are they still there? What can you tell us?
Yes, the cocoa farmers from part of the Hohoi and Guan enclave, Antrokofi, Akpafu, came here this morning. The numbers keep increasing. Initially, there were just 8 people when I arrived here, but as I speak, I can count more than 30 people who say they are great farmers who government owes. They say since November last year to date, they have not received a dime from government, despite supplying their produce to the PBC. Some tell you the government owes them some amount in excess of 100,000 Ghana cedis. And these, they say that the delay It's affecting their daily livelihood. It's affecting the education of their children and also their access to healthcare, since their livelihood largely depends on the farming activities. So this morning, when they came in, their demand is simple. They want to get their money before they leave here. So at the initial stage, they attempted driving out workers in the office here, but they could not succeed because the police came later to calm them down. As I speak to you, leadership of the group is engaging some members of the management of Cocoa Board here in the office. Let's have a listen to their earlier interview when I engaged them. Okay.
They should bring us our money. We don't have a problem with anybody. We want money. Only money that we want. It's only our money that we want. We are not fighting. We come here peacefully. We want our money. Our wives are dying. Our children are dying. We are hungry. Our children are not going to school. They sacked them from school. They are at home. We want our money. Please, come again.
The stories BBC and then Atlas are telling us is a slap on the face of the cocoa farmer. It's a slap on the face of the cocoa farmer. It casts a great snare on the image of the cocoa farmers. Please, Mr. President, you promised us to pay 70%. 70% of the cocoa we produce in Ghana. Here lies the case. You are not giving us any of that. You are not paying us any of that. You said you want to reset Ghana. This is why I'm getting it wrong. You said you want to reset Ghana, Mr. President. You said you want to reset Ghana. Hey, look at me. Am I being reset? Am I being reset? I'm suffering. I'm passing through hell. I'm passing through pain. I'm giving you my grievances. Today, I must receive my money in this office before I leave.
You said the stories they tell you label it as what?
As cricketer soya. I label the stories as cricketer soya because it has been too much. Every week they tell us a different story, which I have labeled next week. Who is the writer of those stories?
Obviously, angry farmers there. Faisal Abdul Idrisu is still on the line with us. Was there any immediate response, as it were, from Cocoa Board officials over there to them?
They have not yet spoken to the media. They are still in a meeting with leadership of the Agri group. What I do know is that initially when the police came, they asked them to remain calm. The police now telling them that they are assembling at the office of the Cocoa Board this morning is not really legal, and so they should go back home and notify the police if they really intend to demonstrate. And so we are expecting the Cocoa Board management here to speak to us after that meeting. But again, leadership of the group is saying that if they don't get any favorable response from Cocoa Board here in Ohwe today, they will be compelled to move to Accra to register their grievances.
Beyond that, though, you said that compared to at the time you arrived at the place, there were just 8. Now the numbers are increasing over 30 as at the last count. What is the situation, security situation like?
Well, so initially there were just 3 police officers here, but now there are more than 5. I think, 6 up to 7 of them are here, except that things are a bit calm than at the initial stages when they arrived.
Thank you very much, Abdul. Faisal Abdul Idrisu is our correspondent in the Volta region. Now, Ghanaians are set to pay more for fuel and transport fares, with pump prices expected to increase tomorrow, August 1. It follows the continuous rise in international crude oil prices and the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. Petrol is projected to sell in the regions of 16 cedis per litre, with diesel selling possibly at as high as 20 cedis per litre. The development could signify resultant increase in transport fares after the GPRTU vowed to increase transport fares should pump prices go up in the next pricing window. The latest has renewed calls for urgent government intervention to ease the impact on the average Ghanaian. Now, Group Sustainable Energy and Mines Project Advocacy SEMPA wants the government to introduce targeted rebates for vulnerable households and SMEs amid the rising prices. And I'll bring you some more later. So the court's now in the Accra High Court has granted Samuel Atachian leave to review and abreast himself with Wuntumi's Tano Mimiri Forest Reserve illegal mining case after taking over as new counsel. The private legal practitioner on Friday, July 31, formally introduced himself to the presiding judge as the new lawyer taking over from Andiapia Kubi. Our court affairs correspondent, Lord Edwasari, has been following this. He joins us live on the phone now. Lord, tell us more.
Right, Beatrice, and so officially today's case was not supposed to have come up because the Chief Justice has sent a circular around for courts not to sit today, seeing that there are other matters. For example, we know that the Supreme Court has been celebrating their 150th anniversary, and so today was supposed to be some sort of Thanksgiving service. And so a number of the courts were relieved, that means the judges and the lawyers, so they could attend. But Wuntumi was, however, brought to court. The case was heard. So now, once the case was called, Samuel Atachian introduced himself to the court, indicating that he is a lawyer who has now come on board, taking over Wuntumi's case after the withdrawal of under Apia Kubi as legal counsel for Chairman Wuntumi. Now, this case has to do with Wuntumi's illegal mining offenses or charges against him regarding some matters in the Tano Mimiri Forest Reserve. He and then Akonta Mining and two more accused persons have been arraigned before the court. Now, the third and fourth accused persons are currently at large, according to the prosecution. As far as this case is concerned, the prosecution said witness has been under cross-examination by the defense. And so the presiding judge told Samuel Atachian that under Kubi had gone quite a distance with the cross-examination of the prosecution said witness, who is an investigator in that matter. Now, he was originally given 6 hours for cross-examination, but he had used about 4 hours. And so the court indicated to Samuel Atachian that after reviewing the case, if he has the need to, as well, cross-examine the investigator for, as a result, will require more time. He has to come before the court again, and so that he can be given more time for the cross-examination. Afterwards, the court then adjourned the matter after noting on the record that Samuel Atachian is a substantive counsel for Wuntumi now. So the case has been adjourned to August 18 for mention, but substantively is adjourned to October 26th and 27th for the defense lawyers led by Samuel Atachian to continue the cross-examination of the investigator in the matter.
All right, thank you very much, Lord Edwasari, our court affairs correspondent. Of course, we'll bring you an update as and when we have them. The Member of Parliament for Wa West, Peter Lanchini Tobu, has called for calm and transparent investigation into the death of a key murder suspect who died while in police custody. The suspect, Abu Tijani, also known as Master One, was arrested in connection with investigations into the murder of 2 young men linked to the Kendo Lasia Tolu conflict. Tensions remain high in parts of the district following the incident. The suspect died on Saturday, July 25, 2026, after falling ill and was rushed to the SDA hospital while in police custody. An incident that has sparked public concern and renewed calls for transparency. Addressing a press conference, the Member of Parliament for Wa West, Peter Lanchini Tobu, described the development as unfortunate and appealed to residents to remain calm while investigations continue. We'll hear from the MP shortly, but let's speak to Ibrahim Wangara. He's our correspondent in that part of the country. Wangara, tell us more about the current situation, what it's like in the town.
Yes, as it stands, Wa West, specifically Kandel, Lasse, and Wichao itself appears to be calm because the MP and other stakeholders, including RESEC and police, are doing their monitoring, while peace talk is also ongoing to engage the youth and stakeholders within the enclave to ensure there is no reprisal attack within their Wa West district. So peace or calm appears to have returned to the Wawest area as it stands.
Let's listen to the MP and I'll come back to you.
Justice must be done for every victim of this conflict, and every allegation, including the circumstances surrounding the death of people of both communities, deserve to see the rule of law prevail, and all persons found culpable should be dealt with in accordance with the laws of Ghana, without fear or favor. I urge all citizens to refrain from spreading unverified information, inflammatory comment, or hate speech, whether in public or on social media. At a time like this, rumors can be just as dangerous as weapons. Let us all commit to speaking responsibly and allow the relevant state institutions to establish the facts.
And you had there Peter Lanchini-Tobo. He's a member of parliament for the Wawest constituency. We still have our correspondent Wangara with us. I mean, after this press conference, how are people reacting to it?
Well, after the press conference, people within the area, like I put it, appears to be calm. But mind you, any little bit of confusion or miscommunication can trigger, because this is kind of conflict that is spanning for close to 2 years now, because it started somewhere June 2024. Which happens to be between two communities within the area. That led to the disappearance of some 2 young people. And then when RESEC and other stakeholders were doing investigation, it appears that the guy in question, Abu Tijani, was picked up by the police as a key suspect that was picked up in relation to the disappearance or murder of the 2 young people. And then along the line, as Abu Tijani was aiding police in investigation, even to the extent of taking investigators to where the 2 young people were buried. In their return, Abu Tijani, we were told, was feeling some kind of pain or complaining of headache. And then he was rushed to the SDA hospital and then was pronounced dead. So this has also triggered another confusion within his family, because they find it difficult to understand why police will pick up their relatives in the name of a suspect, only for them to be told about the death of that person while he was still within the custody of police. So that is raising questions, and then people think that the police might have had harm in the killing of Abu Tijani. So as it stands now, Abu Tijani case is ongoing, while the 2 missing or murdered young people from Lasse and Kendall is also ongoing. So that made the whole place a bit tense, despite calm appears to have returned to the area. So that is the circumstances as it stands within the Wawest area.
So do we have a security patrol in the communities?
Currently, yes. Even yesterday, we saw police officers. Some of their apartments were in a way burned. A house, a private residence that is containing these police officers was burned. And then 2 people are also in the hospital receiving treatment due to their gunshots that were, fired by the police on patrol within the area.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Wangara. He's our Upper West Regional Correspondent. The traditional coronation of the regent of Dagban, Kampakuya Na Yakubu Mahama, is expected to take place later today at the Bewa Palace. The coronation is a major event in Dagban tradition after the death of Ayana. The regent, following his coronation, will take over the affairs of Dagban until a new Yana is enskinned. President John Mahama and other government officials are expected in Yendi to grace this occasion. Already, scores of mourners and well-wishers are in Yendi ahead of this traditional ceremony. And my colleague Nadra Mohammed is monitoring events for us. She joins us live on the phone. Nadra, okay, we've lost her on the line, and we'll bring you some more on this shortly. whilst we connect to Nadra, let's hear the public relations officer for the Bewa Palace.
On the 11th of July, that was when he was installed as the Kampakwena. Yet, he cannot act as the Yana until he is installed as the regent of the kingdom. And that is why it is very important that Nayakwana, together with the kingmakers, organize themselves. This morning, the shaving of hair is underway. That is a basic thing to do, after which around 12 to 1 p.m. the installation will take place. So the installation will take.
And you heard there the PRO of the Bewa Palace. We do apologize for the poor quality of that sound. Nadra Mohammed is our correspondent there. She joins us live on the line. Nadra, what can you tell us about what's happening today?
As you know, that Dagban is getting.
We'll have to call her back. The line is bad. Whilst we try to do that once again, some 11 pupils are currently receiving treatment at a 37 military hospital after the school bus they were traveling on was involved in a road crash on the N1 highway at Jowulu. Several of the children are reported to be in critical condition. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namomolate, was at the hospital to visit the victims. Here's a report.
A distressing scene as the injured pupils were rushed to the 37 military hospital for emergency medical care. Anxious parents gathered at the hospital's main entrance, hoping for positive updates on the condition of their children. Moments later, the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namomolati, arrived at the hospital. Inside the emergency ward, doctors and nurses attended to the injured children who sustained varying degrees of injuries. Some of the parents spoke to the news team.
I go to church and say, well, if I'm coming, somebody comes, my sister comes and say, my children church accident. So if I reach there, they can't come for hospital. I don't feel well. Please. Please go help my daughter for me.
I don't see anybody in Nigeria.
It was later confirmed that the victims are pupils of Axe God International School at Ajenkuju in Tema West municipality. The pupils were returning home from school when a tipper truck reportedly crashed into their school bus along the N1 highway at Jowulu. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namomolati, assured parents that government will fully cover the medical expenses of the injured pupils.
When you look at the kids and the pains they are going through, the degrees of injury, it's not a good feeling. But the assurance is that we stand with them, the nation stands with them.
She also directed the police to carry out a thorough investigation into the crash and ensure that anyone found responsible is brought to justice.
When you look at what the children are going through, you don't want to just sit somewhere and say, oh, it's okay, no, there was no casualty. So, no, it's not. And then the president is also interested in ensuring that the children, anybody who has faulted is brought to book, and then the children are well catered for.
And that was a News Desk report. Now, President John Mahama has described one of Ghana's long-serving diplomats, Ambassador James Victor Gbeho, as a leader who did not only seek greatness, but sought to only serve, and greatness found him. Paying his tribute to the former envoy, President John Mahama said, although his voice may be silent, he has earned Ghana's respect unmatched. That's it for the Midday News here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to streetnews.com for more news.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Michael Obodu. Coming up, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, urges government to suspend collection of 1 cedi levy, warns fuel prices to jump up to 11% from August 1 as crude oil rises and cedi weakens. Also, Ghana's cocoa production projected to fall by at least 16% in 2026-2027 season as cocoa boards cite weather conditions, disease, aging farms, and illegal mining. Details of these and many other stories, please stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time. Let's bring you some stories now. And government has defended its cautious spending approach amid criticism from the minority in parliament over what it describes as low expenditure, insisting that the current restraint is a deliberate strategy to restore fiscal stability. Technical advisor to the finance minister, Dr. Theo Echampong, says Ghana has completed 18 months of fiscal correction with 6 months more needed before government begins increasing spending on infrastructure, goods and services from 2027 under a new economic program while maintaining strict value for money principles.
In the second half of the year, there's of course a bit more space, so you can actually spend a little bit more on the capital projects. Minister has indicated very clearly in some of his engagements that you need at least 2 years of the fiscal correction that currently the country is on. We've done 18 months. There's another 6 months or so to go, and then once the reforms and the corrections have been baked in, going into 27, under the new economy program that again has also been signaled, you would even get a bit more spending on the capital side, but also on the goods and services side. But to just close and re-emphasize, we are spending in the right places, and importantly, we're spending in a way and manner that has to meet value for money thresholds and benchmarks. And the days when we were just, all over the place and the indiscipline that sent us to, default on our debt and enter a 17th program with the fund, that, as far as we're concerned, is long gone and over.
You heard the technical advisor to the Minister of Finance, Dr. Theo Echampong, speaking there. Now, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, is urging government to suspend the collection of the additional 1 cedi levy to cushion consumers. Fuel consumers in Ghana are bracing for higher prices at the pumps from Saturday, August 1, 2026, as fuel prices are expected to increase up to 11%. That is according to projections released by COPEC, which blames the expected increase on rising global crude prices and a weakening cedi. Let's take a listen to Head of Research and Training at COPEC, Paul Eric Ofori.
COPEC warns that these factors will push up the retail prices of petrol, diesel and LPG. For petrol, COPEC projects an average pump price of 15 cedis 95 pesos per litre. That is a 9.36% increase from the current average of 14 cedis 59 pesos. Prices are expected to range between 15 cedis 16 pesos and 16 cedis 75 pesos, depending on what oil marketing companies charge. Diesel could see an even bigger jump, with international free on board FOB prices up nearly 25%. COPEC estimates diesel will sell at an average of 19 cedis 45 pesos per litre, up from 17 cedis 76 pesos. That puts the expected range from 18 cedis 48 pesos and 20 cedis 42 pesos, representing some 10.78% increase. COPEC projects LPG will retail at around 13 cedis 80 pesos per kilogram, following a 12.24% rise in international prices. The chamber is calling on government to introduce urgent measures to cushion consumers, warning that the increases could put more pressure on households and businesses already grappling with cost of living challenges. Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has raised the minimum price thresholds for petrol by 9.4%, diesel by 18.3%, and LPG for the first pricing window of August.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, recent reports are revealing that Ghana's cocoa production is set to fall by at least some 16% for the 2026 and 2027 season. And this has largely been attributed to weather conditions, disease, aging farms, and illegal mining. And that is according to Cocoa Board. This report has the details.
The regulator says the expected decline is linked to the likelihood of El Nino conditions, excessive rainfall recorded in May and June, and the natural alternating yield cycle of cocoa trees. Cocoa Board says the western and western north regions, which together account for more than half of Ghana's cocoa output, are particularly affected by a low number of young cocoa pods surviving to maturity. The situation has also been worsened by swollen shoot disease, aging cocoa farms, and the expansion of illegal gold mining, particularly known as galamsey, which has resulted in some cocoa farms being taken over by miners. The projection follows warnings from farmers in the 2 regions of sharply lower pod counts this season. Cocoa Board says it is taking steps to cushion the impact, including rehabilitating infected farms, expanding insecticide and fungicide spraying, and restoring nationwide free fertilizer distribution for the 2026-2027 crop year. The development comes as Ghana's cocoa sector faces a broader regional supply challenge, with output in Ivory Coast also expected to fall by more than 10% next season.
And on that note, that's how we end today's edition of Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more stories, kindly check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend, and Black Rasta is on standby. Do stay tuned.